breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to the Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. This is the Daily Ledger, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Glad to be here with you today. Let's get that share screen and dive right into these headlines, shall we? Okay. Former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney dies, aged 84. Republican politician played influential role in decisions to invade Afghanistan and Iraq. All right. Next, we have Shutdown hits record day 35. Real talks starting to emerge. So where we're at on this is basically that there have been a few signals that the government shutdown might end. They're actually doing a vote today at 2 p.m. Eastern time on this HR 5371 on the continuing resolutions. And I was actually reading through it, and so it was saying, so this is what they're going to vote on today at 2, and it says this bill providing continuing FY 2026 appropriations for federal agencies provides additional funding for security for federal officials and extends various expiring programs and authorities. And then I'm looking at, so it's basically most of the body text is just standard language for a continuing resolution bill. And then what was interesting was that in the in addition section, it says, in addition, the bill extends several expiring programs and authorities. And the first bullet point is several public health, Medicare, and Medicaid authorities and programs. So from what I understand, this has been the sticking point up to now. I think all but one of the Republicans have voted for the continuing resolution as is. So I think that's like 54, but to end the government shutdown, they need a supermajority, so 60 votes, and all of the Democrats have, I think except one, have voted against it. I guess on the standing, apparently, that President Trump is ending some basically healthcare related programs. And I haven't seen President Trump backtrack on that. But the first thing in this bill is saying that the bill is extending several expiring programs, including public health, Medicare and Medicaid authorities and programs. So I don't know. Was there a compromise that sort of didn't make it into mainstream news? I don't know. We'll have to see it too, I guess. But yeah. So this article from Reuters, for first time in long U.S. government shutdown, hints of progress towards reopening. Let's zoom in on this guy. The first glimmers towards nearing a near record-long federal government shutdown were seen in the U.S. on Monday, in the U.S. Capitol on Monday, as leading Senate Republicans and Democrats talked about a possible off-ramp to the disruption. Yeah. Okay. So apparently, regarding SNAP, I guess President Trump has paid half of the normal SNAP benefits for the month of November. So 50% of eligible households. Okay. Let's read this. The Wall Street Journal. Senator predicts government shutdown will end this week. He says, I'm very confident we open the government back up before the week's out. This is day 35. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, I mean, in my opinion, the biggest issue with the government shutdown is that the fact that they're not paying the air traffic controllers, and that's a very high stress job. So it's actually really bad that they're not being paid, and it's causing all sorts of delays and obviously risks of flight problems. Yeah, so we want everyone to fly safe. Okay. Next story, and I think this is actually there's one more small one I want to end on, but second to last story, there are numerous elections, like small time elections across the U.S. The most important, I suppose, is the New York mayoral race. Looks like Zohran Mamdani is set to win. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna find out by 9 p.m. tonight Eastern time. So we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, and then I was on TechCrunch this morning. I saw this article. Locket. It's a social. So it's a social app that's picking up steam with Gen Alpha. It's kind of like Be Real, I suppose, except so I guess the idea is that you have like an iOS widget like so, and you're supposed to like publish your coolest picture from the past week. And apparently it's picking up steam with Gen Alpha. I think it had the daily active users here. 91 million lifetime installs, over 1 million shares driven by the feature. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I don't have it, but yeah. Kind of kicking myself because I was like, oh, I could have thought of that. Okay. Let's switch to Byte AI and see if we can do some trades. Make sure to download Byte AI. It's a stock. It's a news sentiment aggregation tool. You can look at news for your favorite stocks. You can also look at a news sentiment and get GPT-5's take on all of that in sort of a succinct manner, like so. It's not a replacement for a financial advisor. It's just a data aggregation tool. Make sure to download it. Make sure to go to byteai.me, byteai.me, and download the iOS app or access it via the web app as I'm doing here. Okay. Let's read Microsoft. Okay, I had this up for a little bit, so it wants me to log back in. Okay, Microsoft. Underbought. Microsoft shows several classic underbought signals, RSI around 46. Price near the lower Bollinger Band with a narrow margin, and the MACD close to the signal line with a slight bearish tilt. Okay, the narrow Bollinger Bandwidth suggests a squeeze and a potential mean reversion towards the mid-band, which is a favorable setup for a partial rebound in the near term. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like slightly underbought. The macro themes center on AI proliferation and tech sector leadership. NVIDIA's dominance, OpenAI related deals amid a quiet macro data backdrop. Okay, well, you know what? Let me buy, since it's underbought, Microsoft. All right, I'll buy $100. Nice. Okay. Let's go to Meta. Underbought. The current setup for Meta shows signs of being modestly underbought with near-term upside potential. The RSI at 45.5 indicates room for a mean reversion without being oversold, and the price is sitting close to the lower Bollinger Band with a narrow bandwidth, implying price compression that often precedes a bounce. Okay, RSI 45, slightly underbought. Latest Meta coverage presents a mixed but leaning to bullish near-term view. Several pieces note Meta's Q3 results as upbeat and a buy the dip mood is gaining traction as the stock remains roughly 20% below its prior highs. With a few calls explicitly from the articles, or I'll just read the full sentence. The Meta sentiment across articles ranges from neutral to somewhat bullish, with a few calls explicitly encouraging buying on the dip. A recurring macro theme is tech AI leadership and ad demand supporting upside despite volatility. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let me buy it. Meta. All right, I'm just putting in $100. Nice. Okay, well, those are all the underbots I have. Maybe I should add more stocks. Oh wait, I have Amazon. Or didn't we already do that? No. Okay. Okay, it shows a meaningful underbought setup. Yeah, because we took profit yesterday. RSI at 41.5, price near the lower Bollinger Band with a narrow bandwidth, and the MACD marginally below the signal line. These factors point to limited downside risk with a higher likelihood of mean reversion back to towards the mid band. Okay, 41 is kind of low compared to 50, so I kind of like that. The Amazon coverage is mixed, but leans towards a near-term bullish, somewhat bullish stance, driven by AWS growth momentum and AI-related growth narratives. Yeah, I was thinking like, well, Alexa is probably, I mean, there's probably, I should have double-checked this, but there's probably, I would bet that there's an Amazon Alexa. Well, I'm sure that Amazon Alexa is going to be sort of supercharged by ChatGPT as a result of this AWS deal. Of course, I saw an article on TechCrunch where they're saying that it's going to be, they're kind of like publicizing Amazon Alexa, like a new version of Amazon Alexa for like Amazon Music. So yeah, a lot going on with Amazon, but it is indeed underbought according to Byte AI. So guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be buying. Okay, very nice. All right, well, I think that's good for today. So let me get this off the screen. I think my light died off to charge that. But yeah. Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure to download byteai.me, Byte AI Market Analysis. It's not a financial advisor, but I use it before I make any trades because it's a great data aggregation tool. Alrighty, folks. Thanks again. I will see you tomorrow and have a great rest of your day.